Hey, the other you mentioned the party. There's the party. There's the party aspect of the All-Star weekend. There is the convention. That is, it's an NBA convention. There's the availability. There's always people making news. So LeBron spoke on Sunday because he wasn't there Saturday, but he spoke on Sunday before the game, and he just talked about the reality, which was an interesting reality when I think about it. Like, it's hard for me to imagine, but we've obviously been here before. We've been here with Kobe. We've been here with Jordan. We've been here with Kareem. You know, everything has a beginning, has an end, Neil. And so, like, there is going to be an NBA without LeBron James, as hard as it is to imagine. LeBron sees the end. He's closer to the end than he is to the beginning. And he spoke openly about what the end might look like.
I was asked this question a couple of days ago. Will you kind of take the farewell tour, or will you kind of just Tim Duncan it? I'm 50-50. I'm going to be honest, because there's times where I feel like I guess I owe it to my fans that's been along this journey with me for 2 decades plus to be able to give them that moment, you know, whereas every city and whatever the case may be, and, you know, they give you your flowers or whatever the case may be, you know, and that seems cool. But the other side of, I've never been that great with accepting like praise. It's a weird feeling for me. I never really talked about it much, but it's just a weird feeling for me. So to go in each city, if that's the case, I don't know. I've seen Mike's, I've seen Kobe's, I've seen a lot of guys. I just don't know how I feel. I don't know if I will feel great about it. Maybe the only child in me, maybe, but I don't know. But I am a Laker, and I am happy and been very happy being a Laker the last 6 years, and hopefully it stays that way.
Okay, let's go ahead and, if you will, let's table the Laker talk. We could do that another day. There's plenty of time to talk about LeBron's next team. Yep. Okay, whether it's the Lakers or somebody else, we'll table that. We'll just focus on
next team. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. End of conversation. I want to focus in on the farewell tour remarks and the not good at accepting praise remarks. Typically, I find that those who say they don't like attention are the biggest attention whores. Without fail, people are like, oh, I can't stand attention. I don't like being the center of attention.
Oh.
It's like,
I don't want to be the focus. Don't make me the focus.
It's not about me.
I'm not comfortable with this.
Right. It's like, really?
Come on, LeBron. Stop that.
Really? Like, I've never been good at receiving praise. Like,
you haven't?
I mean, the king courts praise.
I didn't know that.
I mean, look, it's not a criticism. Like, I love LeBron as much as the next man. And I ain't even trying to call my man a liar, but I am like a little, really?
That's surprising to me. That's a surprising comment.
Yeah. Like, really?
Can we say that?
Like, you would be uncomfortable being the center of attention, receiving your flowers. Okay. You say so. Having said that.
At the end of your career.
Right. I don't think he's 50-50 on it. I don't think there's any way. Like Tim Duncan'd it because he's Tim Duncan. LeBron has never conducted himself like Tim Duncan. So he's not going to Tim Duncan it. You are not going to deprive, you are LeBron James, okay? You are not going to deprive yourself of something Dwayne Wade got, something Kobe Bryant, of course, got, something all the greats have gotten.
It's going to be bigger than that. It's going to be bigger than it all. You want
to
talk about
be
parties?
Film. It's going to be a Taylor Swift, Beyonce film. They're going to make a film about his last. What are you talking about?
They're already in it.
I mean,
it's going to be come on. It's like one of those movies like, oh, they're in here. It's good. Like we saw Usher's halftime show. We're gonna put Usher to shame with all the cameos he had. Okay, yeah, and all of them gonna be in it too. It's gonna be Jay, Beyonce,
This
Usher,
is gonna be a Spring
Jermaine
Hill
Dupri gonna be up in there.
Uninterrupted
Luda.
production in theaters only. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like this is.
Sponsored.
I don't.
Co-sponsored by Nike and Spring Hill. Boy, stop! Stop it!
I mean, a farewell tour to end all farewell tours. I mean, there.
Oh, come on.
I don't know any superstar who has been more in touch with what is said about him or what isn't said about him than LeBron James. The idea of. I don't know.
That's the funniest thing. That's the funniest thing you said in a long time.
I don't know if I want a farewell tour. All-time leading scorer, you just go Tim Duncan it? Like you spent your whole career. You spent your whole career as the center of attention. Welcoming
what happened to LeBron? Where's LeBron? Everybody see LeBron?
And he has wielded that power. He's wielded that power, that influence over his organizations, over the league, over the sport, over the culture. He has wielded that power and influence masterfully. And all jokes aside, he deserves a farewell tour. If anybody deserves a farewell tour, it's LeBron James. Like there's no way. But not only will he not want to be deprived of a farewell tour, regardless of what he said. Like we should be able to give him a farewell tour. That's as much about us and as fans and as a basketball community as it is about the person we're saying goodbye to. You know?
Well, I will tell you this, and all the things you said are true, but let's just push this forward. He answered the question. Whether we agree with everything he said or not, he answered the question. He answered the question thoughtfully. This has been on his mind. So I would not be surprised if all of this happens in the 2024-25 season, meaning next year, last year. That's a lot to be talking about. Like, if that's not on your mind, you say, hey, I'm looking forward to the second half of the season, which he did say. He did say that. That was part of it. I'm looking forward to the second half of the season. We got some momentum going here. I take it year by year. I don't know. I'm enjoying playing basketball. I got a lot to give this game. No. I think we got a little window into what he's thinking. I would not be shocked if next year is LeBron James's last year playing in the NBA, because you don't give that much thought to it unless you've given that much thought to it and you're close to making a decision. And look, he even talked about it. He was open about a lot of things, open about his ankle and how, hey, he can be out there with these guys, but he's not gonna play that much, and he didn't play that much in the All-Star game, and he didn't play in the game before. The last game before the All-Star game against Utah, didn't play in that game. And LeBron has reached a point in his career. This year he's going to be 40 in December. So, look, man, you're playing like he does, and you're dependent on like he is at 40. We've never seen it before in the history of basketball. Someone that age who is relied on so much to deliver for his team has not happened. And so the reason it hasn't happened is just it can't. Physically, you will break down, which is what is happening to him. I think last year is it for him.
So next year.
Next year. I think next year is it for him.
Yep. So let me stop calling Cap for a second and actually examine this from, the other side or his perspective. Because, there is a way that he could Tim Duncan it, as he said. Just walk away without any kind of fanfare. And it would make sense despite the person that we think we've come to know over the last 20-odd years. And you just hit on it. You just hit on it. Is if there's one trump card he could have over everybody. And if he could walk away from this game saying he never declined. Like one way to beat Father Time One way to beat Father Time is to call it. Is to get out the ring. Like the reason Father Time is undefeated is the reason Father Time is undefeated is because people stay in the ring with him. You know, and people keep trying to fight Time. If he just decides, I'm done, and I'm going to leave at the peak of my powers, even in my 40s, as opposed to letting my game decline ever so slightly. Like, he'd be the only player to ever have his entire career was his prime. If he decided just to walk. As opposed to, because usually the farewell tours, the guy, it's obvious to everybody that he has to retire. His game has slipped. He may have flashes here and there, but he's no longer this focal point, this elite player, this top, 5, 10, whatever player that LeBron still is. So if LeBron, blew off his farewell tour, it could be because he decides to walk when we or he least expects it. In other words, like, let's say next year is his last year, not because he intends for it to be his last year. It's because after next year, and let's say he's able to play with Bronny or whatever, after next year, he's just like, I've done all I want to do in this game, and I don't need to come back and put my body through everything it takes to maintain the standard of excellence that I've had over 2 decades. Like, it looks like he can just roll out of bed and do this. But the amount of work that he has to put into maintaining his body in the off season and during the season, and the wear and tear that he must still feel even as a 40-year-old, he may just decide he doesn't want to do that anymore. So it's less about, hey, do I want people to know? Hopefully I'm making sense here. Do I want people to know that I'm retiring and I want to be showered with flowers? And it's more about, I don't know if I'm going to retire this year or next year. Like, he may just decide to surprise himself and us and say, you know what? I want to go into entertainment full time. I want to go into philanthropy full time. I want to go home and be a family man. I don't want to do what it takes. Not that I don't love the game, not that I don't love competing. I don't want to do what it takes to be LeBron James anymore.
Yeah, and all that's
established. I don't want anybody to remember me for anything other than the king. Like the guy.
Here's the other thing. The very human part. So we're talking about the part that we can't relate to. Well, you can't relate to, being the best player of all time, but I can. No, we talked about a part that we can't relate to. The basketball part. But here's the part we can, and everybody else listening to us and watching us can. When you turn 30, you kind of reassess, and you think, okay, what do I want to do now? What does this mean? For some people, it doesn't mean anything. I'll just keep going. But for others, it's like a point. It's a point of reflection. It's a point, I'm going to be pensive here. I'm going to think about what 30 means to me. And what did I just say? In December, he's going to turn 40. This might be the time, and it's not about, being elite and what I want to put my body through. It's just, hey, I'm 40 years old, and I've played basketball since I was a teenager. And I'm a billionaire, and I've got businesses and partnerships and interest. And here's my wife who's been here the entire time, and I would like to just live without being dependent on an NBA schedule. So I'm 40 years old, and now it's time to go. That might be it.
Yeah.
It might be. That's why I think it's coming. It's coming. I would, not to turn this into my bets, but I wouldn't be shocked at all. I wouldn't be shocked at all if 2024-25, there it is, LeBron James lets it go. And he'll still be a top 10 player. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen a player his age be in the top 10 ever. So he retires.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, not in the NBA I'm talking about.
No, I got
retires,
it. Yes, no, for sure.
And he walks away, and he's got he really has done everything. All the things you talked about, competitiveness and love of the game and championships and making situations and franchises and communities better. All of that. He's done it all. Nothing else to prove. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.